Hello, this is Dr. Young, and I'm going to go over your week 8 video. We're getting close to the end of the course. We've got 2 more weeks. So this is a good time to go over your grade feedback and any questions that you might have. And let me know if you have any questions about the class, course, content, anything. It doesn't matter what. I want you to feel comfortable just, asking me any questions. If you have any feedback, critique, concerns, it doesn't matter. Just let me know. Courses are always a work in progress. There's always ways to improve the courses, and I'm looking for any constructive feedback is always welcome to me. So for week 8, we're going to talk about feedback, which is absolutely, very important, and communication is part of that. So you have this is a philosophy of teaching continuation project, and then you have this grade book feedback. Now the discussion is non-graded, and we're going to talk about one of the strategies for feedback. For that, you have 3 scenarios presented to you here, and you're familiar with this format by now. The 3 bullets, you pick one, you talk about one. So make sure you pick the one that's kind of most, important in your mind. Obviously, all of these are important, but whatever speaks to you the loudest right now as you continue to consider how you would run your class. So what would be challenges to tailor grade feedback for someone who is not prepared for the course, someone who doesn't understand course or assignment requirements, or those who fundamentally disagree with grading? And that's something, all of these scenarios you're going to run into as a teacher. So I want you to tell me how you would handle one of those situations. And you know the requirements by now, but obviously doing discussions, right? But just kind of imagine yourself in one of these scenarios and tell me how you would deal with it. It's difficult sometimes. I find, in my opinion, this one's the hardest one to deal with. And this is one where it really matters how you communicate at the beginning of the course. This is where we get into problems when we might not have clear expectations set in the beginning, for example. So anyway, I don't want to get to, because I want you to tell me how you would deal with it, and I want you, I don't want to influence your answer, but there's just a lot of things you can do, and I'm looking to see what you would do. So just be realistic how you're going to deal with that. Imagine yourself in the future in that situation. And your philosophy of teaching statement is, we've done these parts. We've done the conceptualization of learning, conceptualization of teaching, goals for students. So now we're going to talk about implementation of the philosophy. So you've considered the first 3 sections. So go back through that, what you've written, and then tell me how you would address the following questions. This section is heavy on action. Practical actions that will lead you to the right learning environment, to better relationships. How will you grade and evaluate performance? Offer step by step. What would you do? This, and this. I mean, really want to see practical, actionable terms. And that's what I'm looking for. So you're really just coming up with an example of what you're going to do. And these are, this is pretty challenging to think, what specific steps will you take to create a positive learning environment? What modes of learning will you use? How will you use technology in your classroom? Are you using desktops? Are you going to use iPads? Are you going to use, what other technology could you use in the classroom? Do you really, or if you're not going to use it at all, just explain that. I don't know it depends on what you're teaching. That might make a difference as to whether you use technology. So 1 to 2 pages, Microsoft Word, and submit it. That's really all. This is a continuation. Upon the completion of this class, you're going to have a teaching statement to use. So that's the key here, is to make a real one, and you're going to use it to apply for jobs. They want to know what, they're going to ask for this. This document sells you as a teacher, quite frankly. So you want to make sure that it's, contains all of the content that you want it to contain. So that's really it. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know, and have a great week. Thanks for listening.